what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a brand new video. Today we have a video about ranking every single weapon in Battlefield 5 from best to worst. I didn't include the pistols and the bipod only weapons like the MMGs and the bipod snipers. All the real guns, this might trigger some people, are in here. Their shotguns are in here though. Don't know if they were like the most skillful weapons, but we include them in there. I gotta give the Z guy a shout out. I will link his channel in the description. He made the tier list, so thank you for making that. So yeah, definitely go check him out. He streams Battlefield 5 almost every day. So yeah, it's worth checking him out. So yeah, let's get right into it. We have the OP tier and all the way down to the F tier. Pretty much OP tier, it's completely a broken gun. S tier is good, and then we'll go from good to worse. I'm gonna be comparing guns to each other as well. So sometimes like DMRs overall are very good guns, but like the Carabin is the worst in the Guer-43. So that's why the Carabin might end up like here when the Guer-43 might be OP. So it's also gonna be a little bit of a compensation or a comparison in between like what category a gun is. I don't want to be talking too much about it because I don't want to make the video crazy long, but we'll talk about each gun for a little bit. If you want to make the tier list yourself, I'll link it in the description as well. Yeah, let's go right into it. We're starting with the Tommy gun right here, M1928A1 Tommy gun, S tier, 50 rounds. The only down part with the Tommy gun is the velocity. The gun or the bullet speed can be quite slow. I think if the bullet speed was fast, it would have been OP tier. ZK S tier as well. I think the ZK is like this overall SMG that has a little bit of everything really good. It's like a good fire rate, good recoil pattern, reload speed very good hip fire. Just doesn't have the 50 rounds, which doesn't make it OP as well, but it competes with guns like the Tommy gun and the Suomi S tier as well. Suomi is out of these three weapons the closest to OP. The problem with Suomi is the random recoil pattern. Sometimes the random recoil kicks in with the Suomi, and I feel like with the ZK and the Tommy gun you can pick off people from medium range a little bit easier than comparison to the Suomi. So those are those three. We have a LMG here. Sometimes the order is a little bit messed up, but LMG KE7 S tier. Slow reload. If the reload was faster, A S tier. But the reload is just too slow. It's actually a very fast killing weapon. All the LMGs are quite slow to use, but this one can really beam players. It's just it doesn't compare to the FG anymore because of the slow reload. MP34 F tier. I don't see a reason why you would use this gun. Any SMG is better. The only thing the MP34 has is the bayonet. Even the recoil pattern, I mean, you would say with a slow rate of fire SMG you could pick people off from medium range. I don't think that's the case with this one. The Sten is better at doing that. The Type 100 is better than doing that. So we'll put the MP34 in F tier. Wellgun is a C tier weapon. It's like an average gun. Same for the MP. I think these guns literally have the same stats. They both have good hip fire. They're like average guns. They just don't really beat guns like this in gunfights at all. But these are like good warm-up guns. If you struggle with control and recoil in this game, you might like this. Because they're not bad at all, but like they're not close to S. They don't deserve A, maybe B. But I think like guns like the Sten, let's put the Sten in B tier. I think the Sten is just better than these. The Sten is quite an underrated weapon in a way. I don't really see a lot of people that progress in the game use the Sten anymore. But I think it's very good. Recoil pattern is non-existent. It's literally a laser beam. The only time it's kind of bad is when you try to kill people up close, because you can get outgunned once again by guns like this. But from medium range, it's like a long range SMG that can really do damage up any range, to be honest. MAV-38, same. It's close. Might be B tier. I think it's underrated. But is it better than the EMP Noah gun? No, it's not. We'll put these three in the same range. And Map 38 is one of those average guns. The recoil pattern can be a little bit weird on it though, but it's got really good hip fire like these other twos as well. MP28 B tier, very underrated weapon. I think a lot of people do not know how to use the MP28. You gotta use the MP28 on maps like Underground and Devastation. It's literally one of my highest KPM guns, kill per minute guns. I think it's like close to 4 with the MP28. Because I always use it in close range maps. Because literally 70% of my kills probably with the MP28 are hip fire only. With the 50 round, it kills really quick. It's underrated. Type 2A, completely broken. I don't know what is bad about the gun. The recoil pattern is quite easy to learn because it's vertical. Vertical recoil patterns are really easy to learn. Barely has any horizontal recoil like the MP28. Hip fire is good. I mean, up medium range, you're gonna struggle a little bit if you struggle with the recoil, but I think it's just completely broken. It shouldn't be in the game. Mass 44. We'll put that at S tier. Underrated DMR. It's really good. Only down part, like this one, I'm gonna put the Guerre 43 at OP, is because the Guerre 43 can pick up people pretty easily from 100+ meters, which the Mass 44 kind of starts to struggle with a little bit compared to the Guerre 43. I don't think many people would put the Guerre 43 at OP, but I think with the 3x scope, you can pick up people from close range and from extremely long range. You can literally outsnipe people, and if you have a good trigger finger with the right specs on, you can pick up people from close as well. You can literally outgun SMGs if you want to. Like headshots can do up to 90 damage, I believe, because point blank the gun does 45 damage, which is a lot. I think it's actually quite OP. It's like an underrated OP gun. Turner Melee, S tier, close to OP tier. It's close to Guerre 43. I think the Guerre 43 is just a tiny bit better. Just because it can really do that long range, and because I like the scope better on the Guerre 43 as well. Mass 44 has the same scope, I believe. Yeah, the Turner has a little bit of a weirder scope, which makes it a little bit more difficult to be precise from longer range. But the Turner beams, absolutely beam machine. Guerre 15 A tier. It's close to S tier, but I think it can be a little bit of a slow killer sometimes. But it has 31 rounds. It has the potential to kill with 3 shots up very close. And the DMRs are always deadly when you hit your headshots. But I think the Turner and the Mass are just faster killers. Also, a problem with the Turner, by the way, is its low reload. If you use the 20 round mag, the reload just takes forever. M1A1 A tier as well. I don't know which one is better. I personally prefer the Guerre 15 over the M1A1, but they're pretty close to each other, to be honest. Just the Guerre 15, I like the scope a little bit more. So that's why I would prefer the 15 over the M1A1. But they're both, I think they're both kill pretty equally as fast. M1 Grand, close to A, I would say. I'm going to put a B tier. Because A rounds isn't that good. I don't think the hip fire is that good as well. So it can be tricky to take off people up close. The good thing about the M1 Grand is the rate of fire and the 3-shot range. I think the 3-shot range is pretty similar to the Guerre 43. Just the rate of fire is faster. But the hip fire isn't that good. And it can, with 8 rounds, you cannot do much if you're not too accurate. AGM 42, it's close to B, but we're going to put it C because it kills too slow. It's not a bad gun. Hip fire is awful on it though. So up close you're not going to do much, but it's the most beamy semi-auto in the game. It's like close to B tier, but because it kills so slow, you only should use it from longer range, which you might as well use the Guerre 43 for. We'll put it C tier. Carabin, it's close to an F. We're not going to put it F because it's still DMR, which is good. But there's no reason to use this gun compared to any of the other semis in the game. Has a slow reload. The only thing that I think the Carabin is better at than the Mass 44 and the Guerre 43 is the recoil control. I think it's a little bit more beamy. But I think the semis are all pretty easy to control. So yeah, the rate of fire isn't crazy. Reload takes too long. You don't have a detachable mag like the GR43 and the MAS44 do. So there's not really a reason to use this gun at all compared to the other ones. We're getting into the assault rifles now. I think we still have the Johnson D tier as well. No reason to use this one. The sound is good. That's what I like about the gun. Kills too slow. I don't think it's better in any way than the GR43, to be honest. I think the 3-shot range is really good on the Johnson, but there's no reason to use that gun over the other ones. Breda, D tier, maybe C tier. We'll put it C tier, because it can kill with one burst. It used to not be able to do that, but with the TTK we have right now, it can potentially kill with one burst, which is quite a fast TTK. But it's just a really awkward gun to use. It can be quite useful when you put it on semi, but versus the other automatic assault rifles, I don't think you should really use this gun at all. A little bit of a weird one with the 4 burst round, which is like kind of lasts too long sometimes as well, which makes it awkward. I think C tier is good for that. ReperBate, B tier, one of my favorite warm-up weapons. Low recoil, just doesn't kill that quick. M2. We'll put it A tier. I think the M2 is underrated. Recoil pattern can be a little bit random on it, but it kills really fast. Up close and medium range. But I don't think, I think because of the recoil, it doesn't deserve the S tier. If it was a little bit more beamy, I would put it in the S tier. M1907, we'll put this S tier. Does it deserve it? No, it doesn't. 20 round guns. I think the M1907 is a little bit underrated compared to other assault rifles. It just kills a little bit slow. No, slow, I mean very fast. It's just the 20 round gun or the 20 round mag can be a little bit awkward to use when you play pubs. So you have to time your reloads very well. And the recoil can be a little bit painful to control sometimes. But besides that, M1907, it's an underrated weapon. It literally kills as fast as the Type 2A. It's just balanced because it actually has recoil that goes horizontal and it only has 20 rounds. So it's like a balanced version of the Type 2A. That's how I would like to say it. SDG. A tier as well. SDG is good at any range, but not crazy good at any range. You can beam people with the SDG when you use the 3x scope as well, but sometimes the random recoil kicks in very awkward. But it's good at any range. You can use it up close if you use the right specializations. You can beam people from quite a good range. Well, on semi-auto, this gun is actually pretty good as well. I don't think the SDG-44 has ever really been a bad gun, no matter what TTK we were in BF5. Sturmgewehr 1.5, however, I think it's the best assault rifle. Because it kills quick up close. It's quite easy to control, so you can actually pick people from somewhat of long range as well. SDG-44 is a little bit better at that, but I think the Sturmgewehr 1.5 is better in most situations you get on BF5. FG-42, A tier. The reason I don't put it in S tier is because 20 rounds are weird to use in pubs. Just like the M1907. If it had like 10 more rounds, it would have been straight OP, to be honest. But I don't think it deserves the S tier simply because of 20 rounds. But FG-42, somewhat of an underrated weapon. Don't see many people use it, but I think it's extremely good in the game. Then we got the Bren gun, which I'm going to put in B tier. Bren gun is underrated. Actually, it deserves the A tier. It's kind of weird to see these guns next to each other, but I think the Bren gun actually deserves it. If you use the 3x scope and your playstyle is defensive, you're gonna love the Bren gun. With the 3x scope, you're gonna be getting easy headshots. Recoil control is easy, and the reload is surprisingly fast on the Bren. So I think it's like an underrated A tier weapon, to be honest. I think the FG, if you know how to use it with the right like reload timing, the FG might be more effective. But I think for most players, I think the Bren is gonna be more effective. I personally prefer the Bren over the FG-42. if I feel like playing a little bit more defensive though. LS26, we're gonna put in F tier. I don't know why you would use this gun. It kills, the only thing the LS26 can do is it kills like somewhat fast up close, I believe. But all the other LMGs are just better. I don't see the reason why to use the LS26. Madsen is close to an F tier. I'm gonna put it in D tier because the recoil, it can be somewhat of a laser beam when you use a 3x scope. I don't think the 3x scope is that useful on the LS26. But if you use a 3x scope on the Madsen, you can, and you're accurate, you can beam some heads off pretty easily. But the Madsen, the time to kill is just way, way, way too slow. So yeah, it's a little bit of it's a D tier. Bar, A tier as well. It's I think it kills faster as the FG, but the recoil pattern can be somewhat random sometimes. So it has a little bit of a pro and a con compared to the FG42. Pretty similar weapons, both fast reloads as well. I think the bar, the tactical reload can be quite slow, as I can remember. But yeah, it deserves A tier. Type 97, C tier. It's better than the Madsen LS. It's like a downgraded version of the Bren gun. That's how I would like to compare it. But it's a useful gun. You can use it. Type 11 B tier. Type 11 and Bren gun are really close to each other. Actually, some people don't realize that, but the Type 11 with the 3x scope can be really good. I think the Bren is just a little bit easier to use, and I think the Bren gun kills a little bit faster. I think the show chat belongs to B tier. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're putting it in B tier because it can be somewhat of a slow killer, and you have to be very passive with the show chat, but it gets annoying to control when you go to medium range kills. Can be quite deadly up close though. Underrated weapon. You have to put your time into this gun to understand how to use it and how to make it effective. Shotgun. Only reason why I put this one lower as these three because this one is just the worst one out of the three. I don't know why they decided to put this gun in the game because I don't see how it's better than any of the other ones. Model 37 is the best one, by the way. Then 12G, then M1897. If you want to make an order in these three, but they're all three are overpowered. I don't think shotguns belong in a multiplayer game myself, but that's just my opinion. Commander Carbine F. Silencer can be, it's the only trick the gun has. It turns into a 4-shot kill or a 3-shot kill too fast. Jungle Carbine. It's a B tier. I think the only down part with the Jungle Carbine is the velocity. The bullet speed isn't great, which makes it tough to use as a sniper for somewhat long ranges, but it shoots extremely fast and it can be useful up close. Hipfire is really good on it. M28, that's C tier. It's between D and C tier. I'm gonna put it in D because I think it's somewhat close to the Jungle Carbine. I think it turns into a 2-shot kill with a headshot a little bit faster than the Jungle Carbine, and it only has 6 rounds. You have a little grenade launcher with it, which I can't remember if that's good, but it's a decent sniper. The rate of fire is good, and the range on it can be quite decent. Lee Enfield, the bolt actions. I feel like all the bolt action rifles, which are 6 of them, are somewhat close. We'll put the Lee Enfield in B tier. The velocity can be somewhat bad, and the damage on the Lee Enfield is quite bad. I think on average you do like just above half damage, like 55 damage. I think you do on average with body shots. And the velocity is bad. Like for long range sniping, you want to prefer the car or the crack. But it's extremely fast for a sniper. So if you're an aggressive sniper, you're gonna like the Lee a lot more. Guerre 95, slightly better than the Lee Enfield. It's also an aggressive sniper. Velocity is bad compared to the car and the crack, but the damage on the Guerre M95 I think is the highest on body shots, which gives you a lot of assist counted skills actually. which is underrated. Like this gun actually gives you a lot more kills than the other snipers, like indirectly. You get a lot more body shots with this. Kar 98K. It's a slow gun, but it's good though. It's absolute laser beam. You don't really have to calculate your shots. I think the crack is just a little bit better. I think these have somewhat similar stats. Just that the crack has one more round. I wonder where the difference exactly is. I think the crack shoots faster as well. So I would guess the velocity and the reload speed is probably faster on the car, but I think the rate of fire and one more bullet is just very effective for a sniper. Like one more extra round can be so much more effective on a sniper. Ross B. The reason for that is it's like the Ross is like a crack Jurgensen, but it has one less bullet pretty much. Body shots isn't too effective on both of the guns. Type 99, we'll put that here as well. It's like if you like the scope or not. It's the closest to C tier. I think I would rate the Type 99 the worst out of these 4 snipers because of the scope. Can be a little bit awkward to use. But for the rest, it's like an average sniper pretty much. K31, we'll put it in C tier. The reason for that is the scope is really awkward to use and the rate of fire is quite slow. Trench, it's honestly close to B. I think the Trench and the PO8 are underrated weapons. I've been using the PO8 lately a lot, and you can beam with that gun in pubs as long as you use the 3x scope and you beam headshots. So I think both deserve a B tier actually. You just gotta be using them correctly, and I think you can be so effective with the recon class overall. So we'll put them B tier. Model 8, C tier. Actually very fast shooting snipers. So from medium range, you can kill people without giving them time to react. And if you're not good at getting headshots, like the bolt actions are effective for one-shot headshots, then the Model 8 might be good for mid-range sniping. Oh, we still have the Type 100. We'll put it A tier, simply because I think these 3 are better in almost any way, but I think the Type 100 is somewhat underrated. It's not used as much as I think it's worth it, because the mid-range on the Type 100 is really good. Like I think you can be more effective with the Type 100 on maps like Mercury, like those a little bit more of the open maps that you still have close range parts in, like Mercury, than the ZK. But it kills 1 bullet slower than the ZK. But it's a laser beam. No recoil at all on that gun. So it's a little bit of an underrated weapon that is very effective. M30 drilling. I think it's OP as well. It's a little bit closer to the S tier because it only has 2 rounds, so you cannot spray it. I see a lot of bots spray with the Model 37. You know, when they miss their first shot, they will keep on spraying. You cannot do that with the M30 drilling. Gotta be a little bit more accurate. But the one-shot range on M30 drilling is way too much. So I think it's OP. Lewis gun, A tier, has a slow TTK. So compared to the FG, and I think the Bren as well, they both kill faster than the Lewis. But the Lewis has a lot more rounds, and it's a laser beam, just like these are. But it kills slower than these, so I think it deserves A tier. M3 grease gun, I would put that, it's close to the S tier, very close. I'm gonna put it A tier because I feel like it doesn't deserve to be in the same spot as these 3 SMGs. But with the silencer, you can be so much more effective than people think. I never see people use the grease gun, but it's close to the S tier in my opinion. Silencer is effective, time to kill is very fast, and if you hit your headshots, you can 2-shot people with an SMG, which is somewhat crazy. MP40, we'll put that here, somewhat of an average SMG as well. I like the handling of the MP40. It feels very smooth, but it doesn't kill crazy fast. The recoil isn't crazy good. So it's like an average SMG as well. It's like C tier. Let me close Discord. Did I have that open for the entire time? I think I did. Then we have the Selbstlader 1916, which I think is it's A tier. The reload or the velocity can be a little bit bad, and the recoil on the Selbstlader is quite high, so you cannot spray it that fast. So you give people a little bit more time to respond to your shots. But oh wait, hold up. Sorry, this is the three. I mixed the Selbstlader 1906 and the 1916. This is the DMR, and this is the sniper version. We'll put it in B tier then. It's a 26 round gun with 3-shot kill range. That's pretty decent. It just kills, or it shoots way too slow. The rate of fire literally drops it down from like what could be like close to S tier to, you know, to the B tier. But it's good though. Underrated weapon as well. Kills pretty decently. You just gotta keep your enemies from mid range, then you'll be effective. RSC, slightly better than the Model 8 right here. But we'll put it in C tier anyways, because the 3-shot range kicks in too fast. ZH, OP. I don't see a reason why to use any of the other semi-auto snipers than the ZH. Fast reload. Doesn't have much recoil. And the 2-shot body shot. I think it's from any range, if I'm correctly. So ZH is OP. Then we'll put this in A tier. I already explained why. Because it has a lot of recoil. It has a lot more recoil than the ZH. So with the ZH, you can drop people faster than with the Selbstlader. Because you gotta wait for your scope to drop down on your target again. M3 infrared C tier, close to B. I think the M3 infrared can be deadly in a way if you have a good trigger finger. Let's say if you have a good trigger finger, it's B tier. Because with the silencers, you can do some. You literally don't give enemies time to respond to your shots. So I think it's underrated as well. I think the M3 is very underrated. But it kills too slow up close, and from range you really gotta spam the gun. I think it eventually does like 16 damage per shot, if I'm correct. I'm not too sure about that, to be honest. But if you have a good trigger finger, it's like an M1A1 with a little bit of a slower handle, because you're forced to use the 3x sight. And this sight is honestly, it has infrared, but it doesn't really function like it. It's more hard. In my opinion, it's harder to see enemies in most cases than with a regular 3x scope. So yeah, that's my tier member list from best to worst. Let me know what you think of it. This is my opinion. It's literally opinion based. I mean, there's some experience. I got experience with all the guns. So I think the opinion is somewhat fair in most cases, but obviously some people have way more kills with specific guns than I do. I got all guns gold, so at least I've played with all the guns a fair amount of time. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you want to make your tier list yourself, you can do that in the description. I'll link it somewhere above. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.